The voice of the nation, 1690 WVON.
Good afternoon. We're back. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's 4:11 on April 2nd, and I'm Cliff Kelly, streaming live at www.wvon.com. And today is very important because we have one of the most influential people in the country, not only the country, but all the other places on this planet, because he's been all over and he's speaking at so many places now, and we need him. We are so proud to have in our studio none other than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brother Minister, thank you so much for being here.
Brother Cliff, thank you so much, and WVON for having me on your show.
Let me tell our listeners, you know you can get us at www.wvon.com, but we are also on the webcast, so if you want to see the minister during this interview, you may do so. www.wvon.com, and you'll get to see his smiling face. He will take calls, too. I'd ask him that. He said, oh, sure, of course. I think he was a little upset that I'd even ask, but as I told him, I'm not presumptuous, so thank you again for being here.
Thank you, sir.
591-1690 is our number. Let's start off with something you've been talking about, not only at Savior's Day, but you have run a number of columns in the Final Call relative to accountability and what we need to do, Brother Minister, as African Americans to improve our own communities.
Thank you, brother. With the election of President Barack Obama, the black community has been lifted far beyond our wildest expectations. And unfortunately, many of us think that because we have a black president, that it means the end of our problems, that all of a sudden the presence of an African American as the President of the United States would signal that this is a post-racial America, that all of a sudden our problems will be addressed and solved. There is no doubt that having an African American president can help to solve some of our problems, but in reality, no benevolent white president or black president can be looked at as the total solution to the plethora of problems of the black community. So we have to accept responsibility to rectify the condition that prevails in our communities. No one else can do it for us. This is something that we have to do for ourselves.
Where do we start with that? I think, you know, it's dangerous, and you have brought that out in your opening statement, Minister Farrakhan, about this post-racial America. We had a columnist that was on my show when we were talking about the vacancy in the U.S. Senate from Illinois because of Senator Obama becoming President Obama. And we were talking, of course, about Roland Burris, who is now our senator. And this person says, well, what do you want? You got a black president. Like there's 100 senators and none of them are African American, and it was suggested, well, you know, why should we be concerned about that? So I think you're right. It's a danger, and hopefully our people don't think that same way. Now that we have an African American president, since that's the case, then everything's going to be all right. You're saying that totally is not the case. In fact, I think you're suggesting it might even be worse, because there might be people like this columnist and some of our own people who might say, oh, yeah, everything's going to be fine.
Well, the danger is that the hope that his presidency has brought to the hearts of black people, Hispanic people, and some white people, the sad thing is that that hope, if not translated into concrete actions that better our condition, it will lead to tremendous despair. And into that despair, with the decline of the economy and black people out of jobs and the criminal in the industrial complex, eating up young black men and also women, that blood will flow in the streets of America when it reaches that point where there's complete despair. Already there are riots taking place throughout Europe over the worsening economic conditions that this economic downturn has created. And so now you see in America more and more people getting more and more angry every day because they are looking to someone other than themselves to solve our problem. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who is the leader of the Nation of Islam, has said to us that it is a duty that God Himself has imposed on every creature to do something for itself. No creature looks to another to feed it, clothe it, shelter it, educate it, take care of its young. That is our responsibility. And as long as we permit others to do that for us, then we will never be considered free, justified, or equal to other human beings who are doing this for themselves and their people. So we have to accept that responsibility, and it begins with the reception of knowledge. For the Bible doesn't say our people are destroyed because they're black. We are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, and our ignorance is being manipulated by smart, crooked deceivers who have put us at odds with each other. So it is the introduction not just of common knowledge, but of the proper knowledge that God has revealed to correct the condition that 450 years of slavery and injustice has produced among black people.
Minister Louis Farrakhan is our in-studio guest, and we will continue in just a moment. This is the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
More with Cliff Kelly, the governor of talk radio.